completed my Boss pedal collection just last week, and it wasn't without a lot of work, actually. And just to clarify, I know I've mentioned this before, but I do not have a ton of money. In fact, I'm not going to get into it. But point being, you can do this without a whole lot of money if you just budget and are very smart and deal hunt. And that's exactly what I did. And I'll show you some strategies to either complete your Boss collection or to find pedals for cheap in general. Because you really can. And this, I'm not going to talk about, stores, local stuff to you guys, because that's something that you can do yourself. But if you're wanting to, pretty much, if you want to complete, get pedals you're looking for cheap, you're going to have to resort to eBay in some shape or form. And eBay is, as much as, as it's not as easy to find good deals as it used to be, I probably find the majority of my Boss pedals on eBay. So I have a couple little points I want to make. So let's start by, so let's say you want to find, let's see, what's a good pedal? We'll just say what's a fun one? Let's do the VB2, the vibrato. So that's a very rare Boss pedal, or one of the more rare ones. Pretty expensive. So the first thing we want to do is establish value. And so what I'll do, I'm just going to search on eBay. I'm going to type in Boss VB2. Oops, VB2. That's right. Go ahead and search for that, and we'll see what pops up. Okay, so I have right now, the whole, your sorting is going to be very key for all this stuff. But let's just go ahead and keep it lowest first. There's going to be a whole bunch of accessories first, and then eventually we'll probably get to here we go. So currently on eBay, we have some pretty expensive vibratos. These are both very overpriced, and of course there's a drill right down here if you want to get a Hitachi. But all three of these listings are overpriced, and then the ones down here, international from the Netherlands, even more so. So let's, just searching for something on eBay isn't going to give you a good idea of the value. It just shows you what people are asking for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over here on the left, and I'm going to go to sold listings. Now this will tell me exactly what stuff sold for, and I always search for lowest first because I'm a cheapskate. And looks like the cheapest one sold was a VB2 341. Okay, 385, 400, was one in the box, 450. Okay, so I guess you can kind of establish the value. I like to shoot for the lowest, so 341. I think I actually got mine for around 300, also on eBay. It was a while ago, so maybe the prices fluctuate, but just depending on what's out there, how many people are listing this stuff, it really can change sort of the price spread. Okay, so anyway, that's a good way to kind of establish the value. eBay is a pretty good indicator, I think. Although the VB2 is such a rare pedal, there's not going to be that many. So let's do this. Let's look for something a little bit more common. Let's do the Boss. Let's see. Let's do DD3 Japan. So we're looking for the Japanese DD3. Okay, just gonna also search under complete sold listings. Okay, here we go. So there's a one that was not working, sold for 52, and we're looking for the long chip version, right? Okay, here's a working one that sold for 62, 70 on the lower side, 65, 73. And now a lot of these you're gonna have to kind of factor in shipping. So for example, go ahead and sort of add $8 to the value, so that's more like 80. Okay, so a lot sold for under 100, more than I thought would, and here now we're getting into the around 100. And be careful, a lot of these listings are from Japan, so the shipping will probably be about $20. 15, yep. So a little bit more expensive, something to keep in mind when you're doing this. Okay. Okay, so between realistically, like we sold a lot sold for over 100. Okay. Okay, so if I was actually searching for this to buy, I would say, well, I'm looking for something that costs 75. Right? That seems to be a pretty good price. It's not super well, it is pretty low, but not super low. Okay, so that's sort of my goal. Now, when you kind of establish, you establish the value of the pedal. So between realistically like $75, we'll say, and like 130. Once you establish the value, you want to kind of pinpoint what you want to pay. And like I said, I'm looking to get this cheap, so I'm going to try to pay around $75, we'll say. Okay, so let's see if we can buy ourselves a DD3 Japanese. Okay, here we go. Whoops, don't need any help. Sorry about that, guys. DD3, yeah, I think we're actually here, but let's double check. Okay. DD3, price plus shipping lowest. I'm sorting like that first. And, okay, let's see. There's one from Canada. It's bidding. And you can also search buy it now, so let's just do that. So the cheapest one I can buy right now is 110, which is a little expensive for what I want to pay. And there's not a whole lot of listings for the Japanese DD3. So yeah, just 10. So even actually, and it's also one of those things. Another kind of tip is somebody might not actually say that it's a Japanese version. So you could potentially just type in Boss DD3, and then let's just do newly listed. I'll get to that here in a second. How that works. All right, here we go. I'm not sure why this didn't. Okay, MIJ. So yeah, that's another good point. All right, so this is actually a really good deal. Vintage Boss DD3 newly listed $80 your best offer. So right there, it's already a good deal. Oh, never mind. For parts are not working. Not so good of a deal. Okay. So if it doesn't come up over Japanese or Japan, just type in MIJ, any sort of like acronym for what you're looking for. But yeah, so I'm not gonna get the deal today, I don't think. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes what you can do is people might not know to list it as made in Japan. So if they put a picture of the bottom label, you might get lucky, and if it's like a blue label or a black label, I think it was blue on these, might have been pink, but they may not just know, they may just list it as a D3 and not know the Japanese make or manufacturer has any importance. So that's another kind of hint if you want to get a good deal. But let me show you guys how I got the most of my pedals. This is exactly what I did. So instead of searching for a specific pedal, a lot of times, if you're trying to do a whole collection, you're not going to be able to kind of pick and choose what you get first, So what I tend to do is do exactly as I'm doing right now. So I'll just type in Boss pedal, go to newly listed, and just cruise all the new listed pedals. Okay. So here's a CS3 made in Japan. That's a pretty good deal, assuming that it works. Okay, so will not work. Okay, well it won't. Oh, okay, well, okay, no, that's fine. That makes sense. Okay, so if this is in good shape, this might be a pretty good deal. Although there's Velcro on the bottom, not bad. I mean, I don't really care about a Japanese, CS3. I don't really care for that pedal that much. But the point being, when you search for newly listed and buy it now, you should probably just go ahead and search for that too. Somebody might put up like a great deal, and this is a really good opportunity for you just to buy it now. Let's see, nothing striking my eye necessarily. It's funny, these OD2s go for a lot more than they used to. I'm not sure what the hype is on those. So nothing really striking me as interesting. That's way too much for the noise gate. Sometimes you strike out. Sometimes that's actually not bad for the adaptive distortion. That's a relatively new pedal. You might strike out, not find anything. And it also, the weekends are usually a little bit slower, but sometimes you'll just find a killer deal. Like I found a Slow Gear for $60 that was newly listed, and it just so happened the guy didn't think it worked, but as it turns out it worked. So I took a chance and got a great deal. But had I not searched this way, I would have not have gotten that, and that's like a $300+ pedal. Okay, so another strategy is to go back to auction, and instead of the new listings, search for ending soonest. Okay. Now with this, this is where you want to kind of like figure out. Okay, here's a metal zone for $25 at the moment. If you need a metal zone, that you might want to bid on that. Let's see, Harmonist. It's a pretty new pedal. So what I would do is just do the whole eBay snipe thing, and I don't, do the whole. I don't know anything about actually the sniping programs. I just do the old-fashioned way of finding a pedal. Pretend like we wanted to get this metal zone for whatever reason. What I would do is I would just, okay, here's 5 minutes, right? I'd go ahead and put in my bid. Let's see, I'm not really gonna bid $26 on this, of course. And I'll open the screen and just wait till it ticks down, and at the last like 10 seconds, I'll generally bid on it. Maybe even, depending on your internet connection, just kind of go for it. And you may, you never know, you might get a great deal. That's why I got my Spectrum. I just bid in, last little bit, and it worked. But that's my other sort of strategy with eBay. So to kind of wrap this up with the eBay thing. Basically, you want to search for if you want to, I'd be as broad as possible, and then just, for example, if you're looking for Boss pedals, you want to do the Boss pedal thing. You want to just go for either ending soonest or new listed, and you're gonna, and then of course the new listed stuff you want to do buy it now, and then every couple times a day you want to just try to pick these off as you see good deals. Like if you think this OD2 is a good deal, maybe, or you think you might be able to get a better deal for it, you could just make an offer to this guy, but do it quick. It looks like, is it a silver screw? That's interesting. I didn't know those had silver screws. So, also the bottom looks interesting too. I've never seen. I don't think mine has that color bottom. I'm not sure. But anyway, so yeah, that's cool. Turbo Overdrive. The second thing, if you're not, say with eBay, you want to have some other place to look. So I'd recommend you guys join some sort of guitar forum. My one of choice is the Gear page. It's really good for gear, obviously, and they have different emporiums, depending on the kind of gear. Something to point out though, with the Gear page, it actually costs, I think, about $12 a year to subscribe, but it's well worth it. You kind of weed out all the crazy people, and anybody that's willing to put up $12 a year is probably not crazy and probably relatively honest. So I kind of treat this sort of like eBay, in the sense that I'm just going to search just for Boss in general. Let's see, look at this ad. Let's look at this ad right here, pardon me. And a lot of times, a lot of this stuff's already sold, because these are actually great deals on some of these pedals. People on here will generally price stuff a little bit cheaper than on eBay. Just because they're willing to let stuff go to other guitarists, and they're just probably relatively speaking better human beings than the average eBay person, and that's just being generalized. I'm just generalizing at this point. So this is what I would do. I'd go under advanced search, type in Boss. Okay, and let's go to Pedal Effects Gear Emporium, search now. And then I just look for Boss pedals, and this is very common sense, right? But I wanted to kind of show you guys this site, because it's really cool. And then you can kind of get an idea. I like to look for stuff that have the fewer replies, which means there are probably still good deals to be had. If there's like 26 bumps or whatever on a thread, chances are it's been picked over and lots of views. So let's look at this bunch of pedals, Strymon Boss TC Mini Tune. Let's click on here. Okay, actually, I saw this ad before. This guy's got some pretty good deals for Boss pedals. He's got a PH1R for 100, OD1 for 140, MIJ CE2 for 125. So I guess about average. DD2 135. And then the FT2, that's good. FC3. So these are all fair prices, not like inflated eBay prices. HF2 is 65, SD2. That's a great pedal. The dual overdrive. So if I was to start my Boss collection, or or any pedal collection, this might be a good place to start. And you could also, so reasonable offers considered. What you could do is you could say, well, I want to get your, I want to buy a bunch of these pedals at once and sort of bundle them together and be like, okay, so if I take your DD2, FT2, and FZ3, how much would it cost? And then chances are you're going to save on shipping. He'll probably cut you a deal since you're buying a whole bunch of stuff at once, and then you win and you end up getting a good deal in the end. So GearPage is awesome, great people on here. I bought tons of stuff. Not quite as much of stuff as eBay, just because of, eBay reaches a wider audience, but pretty close. Another great site for you guys to check out is rigtalk.com. They have a classified section 2. Not as many pedals, but they have a lot of really cool higher end guitars and amps. That's kind of like this site's bread and butter. And just for fun, let's just look at these. This is a pretty cool looking guitar, actually, really cool. It's beautiful. Very unique kind of Firebird thing. But anyway, I digress. Something to check out for sure. And I just searched for it the same way. And then the final site I want to show you guys is a site I've gotten some really good deals on. It's called TalkBass, and I know I'm not really dealing with bass player stuff. Although if you're looking for some of the Boss bass pedals, it's a great place to start. But what I would do is I just search, and you don't have to join this site to buy stuff. So search for Boss. I've done this before, obviously. And I'm going to go down to just search under classifies and look at everything, and then search for most recent. See what we can come up with here. And a lot of bass people will sell stuff for cheaper because or sell guitar pedals for cheaper because they're selling it to other bassists and they don't expect as much money as if it was a guitar for them. So I'm already seeing some cool stuff here. We got the Boss Bass EQ for $60. And here's a picture. This isn't a super well, it's not super hard to find, but it's also not super easy, so that might be a decent deal. I'd probably try to get it for about $50. ODB3, $50. And okay, this is pretty cool. This is the Hyper Fuzz, which is one of my favorite pedals, and it looks like it has been sold. $100, I think. Oh, $85. That's an awesome deal for the FC2, or pretty good deal. Much better than most eBay prices. I'd like to get it for $75 in that condition. But anyway, guys, I don't want to keep you guys. I don't want to bore you guys with any more rambling, because this is the first video I've made of this kind. But I wanted to kind of show you what I do when I'm looking to buy pedals, and I don't mind showing you guys because I'm actually done with the Boss thing, and it's time to take a break from buying pedals incessantly and just try to enjoy them, I guess you could say. So please subscribe, hit that subscribe button, like this video, all that stuff. Share the video to any of your friends looking to buy pedals, and any questions, please feel free to drop me a line. It's just me in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time with more Boss reviews. Thanks for watching, guys.